I'm Jamie S. Rich. I've been working in comics for 20 years. Join me as we dig a little deeper into how comic books are made and get to know the people who make them. This is From the Gutters.
Now actually we're talking about this stuff, I'm seeing there's a lot of connections between all of your sort of the characters that are identified with you. Mr. Sensitive particularly comes to mind. How much of that was you creating him and bringing him to Peter Milligan, who you worked on X-Statix with, or Peter Milligan bringing him to you because he's got the super duper mutant acne. He's sensitive to everything, struggling with it. It seems like Frank Einstein again, but to an almost extreme degree.
Yeah, he is. That was my in to the book, the character that I could identify with, the one that put me into the action, and so I could feel it out. And in almost all of my collaborations, there's at least one or two characters that are kind of like my pathway into it. And so I brought, he was originally called the Orphan, and he was pretty much fully formed, his abilities, his problems, almost fully formed in there. Peter then came up with the better name, the Mr. Sensitive name, which is just too good. Dupe was another character which I had just completely from in here and onto subconsciously onto a piece of paper. But then Peter was the one that instilled all of the strange and powerful aspects of what was a joke.
Is it weird seeing that character now being carried on and continuing to be that essential element?
It's thrilling to see it have this entire life of its own. Yeah, that because it was an accident. When I was first talking to Axel about the possibility of doing X-Force at the time, before it was X-Statix, and telling me that Peter and I would be creating completely new Marvel Mutants. Right in that first phone call, I immediately started just doodling out these characters, and in there was this flying potato, and I did a word balloon and just wrote "dupe," and then
I thought maybe you wanted pickles or something.
Who knows? I mean, but the Orphan was on there. The actual doodle sheet is in the bonus of the big omnibus book. I think it's in one of the collections trade paperbacks too. But Axel then took the sheet that I emailed to, I scanned it and sent it in, and he pinned it up in the offices. And he next time he talked to me, he told me like this. Peter likes this design. We're thinking of having this character be this. Go-Go Girl, well, You Go Girl, I originally wanted to call her Go-Go Girl, and I guess there was somebody else had a Go-Go Girl or Go Girl or something. And so Peter came up with You Go Girl. But initially, Axel said, I think we can use all these guys except, I don't think, we're not gonna use this flying potato thing. And that's fine, it's just stream of consciousness. But then, between that phone conversation and the next one, he called me back and said, okay, I'm rethinking this whole thing, because I guess everybody was running up and down the offices in Marvel just screaming, "Dupe, dupe."
Oh, we got points on that.
So Axel felt that there was something there, and he and Peter became, the champions of Dupe after that. And
Was that, the X-Statix came after you did the Atomic series?
Yes.
Because there's an element, the Atomics is very straightforward, Silver Age superheroes.
Yeah.
X-Statix was almost like the obliteration of that. Was there anything, were you doing any conscious moving in that direction, or was that just kind of happenstance?
Yeah, with the Atomics, it was almost an exorcism, where I wanted to get all that Silver Age stuff out of my system. And again, I'm wanting to push forward. I've lost count of how many times people have referred to our work as cartoony. And so I work really hard to have, you know, accurate anatomy, realistic anatomy, so that even the super bulky guys aren't unrealistically super bulky.
Well, you always get credit too, because your guys have bulk in areas where most comics artists don't draw bulk.
They're well, we won't go there. But yeah, I want to be constantly moving forward, and so especially with Madman Atomic Comics, I made a conscious decision to make at least a subtle experiment, if not something huge, with every single issue. And I think X-Statix was the beginning of that, where I'd done the Atomics, I'd done my fun little superhero team, and gave Frank Einstein a bunch of friends who also had colorful costumes and more excuses to go on fun adventures. And with Peter, you know, Peter has this great knack for going really dark, but retaining a sense of fun at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to just completely let loose and just let Peter pull me in that direction. And Axel was very much involved in that collaboration too. So we were constantly finding ways to push and push and push.
Yeah, because there's an element that I think even that probably Peter brought to it a lot. That it's very punk rock in one sense, but at the same time it was so of the moment into how it was punk rock, particularly with all the reality TV stuff and the new media, and even the characters like Fat and Vivisector, and how that played on like hip hop and emerging social stereotypes. And whereas it just before that, which I think is one of your most different projects, you had also done Red Rocket 7, which played on history in a much more straightforward sense, like almost leading right up to what X-Statix would have been next.
Yeah.
How does the 7 clones in Red Rocket 7 fit in then with, say, between Frank Einstein and Mr. Sensitive? Do they represent aspects of your personality as well, or? Very
much. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. One of the things that I inherited from my dad is this keen interest in bringing as many different experiences as possible. So if I'm interested in Jeet Kune Do and studying Bruce Lee and martial arts, I'll throw myself completely into it. But then, okay, now I'm on to this interest and I want to be really good at this. And so with the different clones in Red Rocket 7, they each have an amplified talent, where I felt like in my life, I was just kind of good at a lot of things. And I realized what I really wanted to be was really, really good at least one thing. And so where the clones were really, really good at one thing, but not so much the others, I wanted to be really good at one thing. And I've always been pulled in particular between movies, music, and comic books. And with Red Rocket 7, I realized that I could play in film, I could play in music, but where I had the most control and the most satisfaction in being creative was with comic books. And that's where I decided that that's where I would commit 100%.
I say, because that's kind of ironic that you say that, because that's the project where you did make a film. You made Astro-esque, you did the first Gear album. So you were saying at one point, I'm going to have these characters that are all very good at one thing, and then you tried everything that you wanted to try. So that focused you at the same time?
Yeah, because I don't want to regret anything. I want to know that I at least, tasted this and tasted that. And that's why also even if we just focus on comic books, where with the Snap City universe or the Madman universe, that's where I can put everything I want onto a comic book page. Make it as personal as I want, as goofy as I want, as scary as I want. It's everything that I want to do, I can do that. Whether even self-publish, which I tried doing for a while, and realized that I don't want to be a publisher. It also allows me to just cut loose and just kind of jump in the river and let the current take me. So if I'm working with somebody like Matt Fraction or Neil Gaiman, I admire the person or people I'm working with so much that I don't have to fight it. I have the faith to know that this is the direction that it feels right. And so I've been very fortunate in that way.
Well, like, yeah, you're on a lot of your creative stuff, it's a literal family affair. You've got your sons are in your band.
Yeah, I grew my own partridge family.
Laura, your wife, colors all your comics.
Yeah.
But it seems for me,
she's the best.
And as someone who's been like, I mean, basically we've been working together for almost 20 years now. It'll be 20 next year.
Really?
Yeah, because '94 I got to Dark Horse, and right in then I started working on the Madman stuff.
Wow.
And then, and solidly we've been working together since Red Rocket 7, which was '96.
Yeah, 90s. The album came out in '97.
So really there is an extended family element, I think, to all your creative work. There's almost like the boy gang, like your brothers really are like Paul Pope, Darwin Cook, Joe Quinones, all these guys that you're constantly hanging with, trading artwork with. Have you been conscious of that, and that in reality you're building this extended family through comics, or?
I don't know. I guess I like to think I'm a very loyal person, and when somebody's loyal to me, it's a love affair. And
it's almost like a comic book thing. Like you're gonna. I mean, there was an extended cast of iZombie even,
yeah.
Or the X-Statix, where like team members join. They come in, they come out, and.
Well, with every project, I want to completely put 100% into it, and when I look back, I can't believe how lucky I've been. The people that, not only that I've been able to work with, but like me and like my work. It's very easy for me to get excited about somebody else's work, but then when they feel a strong sense of affection for my work too, that's incredible to me.
Well, it does feel like a really perfect melding. Like I feel like you're pulling something out of Fraction that is still him, but almost like giving him the perfect vehicle for it. It still feels like a Michael Allred book, and it still feels like a Matt Fraction book, but at the same time, there's like, if we erased one of those names, we could still get the same personality out of it. And I don't know, I feel like, yeah, you've made his work, he's elevated himself to work with you, and it's making you do dynamic things as well.
I feel like he's elevated me. That's why I love the collaborations. Again, if I just want to do something really selfish and just go into my own little private world, then I'll do Madman stuff or Atomics or create something else entirely. And now again, this crazy month where so much was literally robbed from us, but at the same time, so much fruit is blooming. Finally, literally moving into my custom studio last night for the very first time. It's like, the rewards are there. To be able to get Laura and I love mid-century design, and to get this home and just have everything be perfect for us. It's like, okay, this is why we've been sticking with this. And I can't say that, we've been working so hard for so long, because it's never felt like work. And that's the blessing in it. It's so darn fun. It's what I would be doing if I wasn't getting paid for it. It really is. It's what I was doing. That's how I was able to get my foot in the door, because I was doing it for fun while I had a whole other career going, and was able to stop broadcasting because all of a sudden I was getting paid as much and then more for doing comic books.
Well, speaking of your custom studio, I actually want to move us in there so that we can take some look at some art, see the studio, and talk about how you put some of the stuff together.
Okay.